Mr. Creed here from Mr. Creed's Lights. Got a request from a gentleman on the Googlies asking for a walkthrough on the assembly of the Pixel Squisher 3000. And since I'm getting ready to convert it back to pixel squishing mode, I had it in drilling mode previously. I figured I will go ahead and do that video now, so sorry this is... Alright, so with that said here, this is the Pixel Squisher 3000. It's basically this pneumatic cylinder. I've put a couple of inches of PVC on it so that the bore doesn't go all the way back up into the cylinder. I like to keep it a little closer to the pixel so it doesn't have to travel as far in between squishes. So that's why I've got that set up like that. As far as the cylinder, the pneumatic cylinder goes, there's just these couplings here that you get. Again, all the parts listed in the video, and there's these rubber connectors. You just push the pneumatic just push the air tubing into the connector, and then tighten it on with the nut, and that's pretty much it. So you've got an in and an out, and comes and it feeds down into this pedal. And the pedal's labeled, I think it was like CLR or whatever. So the middles, I think it's center, right, and left is what I've done. So I have the center and the right going up to the cylinder, and the left one here goes out, and this hooks up to the air compressor. And then when you hit the pedal with your foot, it sends the air up the line and back through, and that makes the pneumatic arm move up and down. So nothing terribly fancy. I'd never worked with pneumatic air tubing or connectors or any of this before. It wasn't rocket science. It wasn't rocket science, and it doesn't require any special tools. Just small adjustable wrench is really all you need to put that together. It seals up nice and airtight without really any fuss or any muss. So if you buy the right parts, it just kind of works. Then the rest of this is really a portable drill press here. That's this lime green piece with the yellow. This is all an adjustable drill press. It's a small drill press at that, but it does have an arm that you can pull down that raises and lowers, and that's kind of nice if you have this in drill mode. If you do this in drill mode, the nice thing about this particular bench drill press is that it has several different collars that you can use to put different widths. When I have it in drill mode, I bought this $40, I guess Master is the name of it, cheapo $40 drill, but it's got a nice narrow collar that fits well into the drill press. I usually just have to put these two smaller plastic collars on to take up the gap, and then it tightens up nicely. And then, of course, the nice thing about you want to find a drill that has a button you can press that leaves it in drill mode, so that you can use it like a drill press. Just push the trigger and then set the button and let it go. So that's good for, when you want to use it in drill press mode. When you use it in pixel squish mode, it's a little different because you're not really pulling this arm to raise and lower. So you'll actually get everything adjusted and set. And then there are these three little Allen screws on the side. And when you get this all set to the right height so that this is pushing the right distance, then you'll tighten everything up. And the only thing that will really move will be the pneumatic piece, and then you will be sliding the pixels across, the strip across, and you can have the center here. I usually use a 90-degree ruler and make a mark here where the center is on this. So when the pixel gets right to the center, I have everything kind of all lined up. Then the squisher pushes the pixel right when it's centered. So that's kind of the you know, the trick to this is really just getting the height adjusted, and this thing has all kinds of Allen screws for adjustability. Also has a much thicker adapter, which works really well. I'm going to see if I can put my phone down for a second here and see if I can put this together here, sort of. There we go. There we are. Fit that down in there. Okay. And then that, with that all set up, you can move the pneumatic piece up, and then really the rest of the squisher. I mean, it's a piece of stair tread here, just standard stair tread. I might have cut a little bit. I can't remember if this might actually be a standard piece. I think it's like 24 inches long, and then I know I didn't cut any off the back, so it's whatever the standard depth is. In fact, here I've got yeah, it looks like it's about 11 and a half. Yeah, 11 and a half by 24 is what it is. So I didn't have to cut anything. I think I was able to just buy this at the hardware store already in those dimensions, which is nice. And then the stair tread's nice just because it is thick, but it also has a rounded edge. So if you bang your knee or your arm or anything into this, it's not going to hurt as bad. It's not a sharp edge on that side. It's a sharp edge on the back, but then you're not going to worry about banging yourself on the back of it. The other thing, I guess, is basically I've just bolted this down using really short leg bolts. The length is in the description, but basically I've got it where these lag into the wood, but they don't go so deep as to go through. That way I can put this on any surface, whether it's plastic workbench here or a wicker table out on my patio. Anything I want to put this on, and I don't have to worry about it scratching any delicate surfaces up or anything like that. Then the vise is a separate. I'm trying to remember if this is a separate piece. I can't remember now or not. It's in the description whether the vise is separate, but basically you can kind of see in here there's a nut. So this is standard bolt nut or bolt washer and nut combo. And really, once you get this thing kind of centered and, you know, kind of adjusted, you don't really have to ever adjust it, but you can loosen it if you need to and move this thing forward and backward. You know, ultimately, you want to get to where when this thing comes down, I think I had to move this when I was drilling. So I will have to loosen these up and move this back a little bit, because you can see this is off center here. But essentially loosen the nuts, tighten them up. So everything here is pretty simple. I mean, I drilled standard pilot holes to put these in so the wood wouldn't split. No drilling was needed for these. The slots are already in the vise and in the drill press. So nothing tricky to do there. Probably the only other things people ask questions about, you know, what's the white PVC for? And it's really just because this bore has such a long travel. It definitely has a long travel. And when I was pushing the pixels, you want to aim it, nice and centered. And I didn't want to wait for the travel of the arm all the way up and down. And also, it was harder to judge the centering the higher up that this was. So to make it easier to work with, I just put this in to hold this closer to the surface. Obviously, I can't lower this down because then the travel would be so much that it would try to push the pixel through the material. So ideally, you want to get it to where when you've got the pixel squishing end on, you want to make sure that when this thing is fully extended, that the pixel is just through the material. And you don't want it to go any farther, and you don't want to be any shorter. So there is some fine tuning you'll do to kind of get that, part working. And it's always better to start with too little push than too much. So start, with this thing where when it's maximum extension, start with where it's maybe right above the pixel, and then figure out, how much you need to lower it to get it to where it'll push it through the material. And basically this is the most complicated part of the squisher really is this 3D printed part. And you can buy this, I think, off Etsy or wherever I've got the link. I did sand it down a little bit. I used a Dremel tool to grind just maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so off this to make it work a little bit better with push and resistor pixels. And then basically what I did is on this side, I used a wood drill bit to drill a hole that was a little bit bigger than this 19 millimeter, this nut. Essentially, I have one of these nuts inside of here, and then I've got this washer laid over the top of it. I just wanted to give it a lot of strength, so I've got JB Weld holding the nut inside, so the hole's a little bit bigger than the nut, so that the JB Weld could go in there. And then I also have a little JB Weld on the back of this washer to hold it, so that makes it all kind of like one solid piece. And then essentially when I want to, put this all together, let's see if I can do this with my phone resting here. This doesn't go very far. There's not a lot of depth to this. So I just get it started and I just tighten it up until it doesn't move anymore. And then I bring this nut down on top of it. And then I can just give that a little snug, and then now this is well attached to the pneumatic pusher, and it will just go up and down and push the picture, and then the slots where the wires go through, and so you just push, slide down, push, slide down, and keep going. And that's really in a nutshell, that's all there is to this. I'm going to see if I can find see if I've got a spare nut and washer set up where I can show you how that assembly looks, and I'll see if I can add that to the video. I will say that this particular drill stand, I liked it because it's actually heavy duty, has big enough collar that but with enough different plastic bits that this fits right in there. And it's heavy duty enough that it takes the workload of pushing thousands of pixels without showing any stress or bending or any vibration. It's just a real solid little unit. So for the extra, $10 or $15 this is over some of the cheaper ones, I definitely recommend this. What is it? Mod 6117, I guess, is what the model number is. But I've got the link in the description. So. All right, here's that addendum I was talking about. So here's another one of these pieces. It's just printed in red. It kind of looks pinkish, but printed in red instead of gray here. But the same basic piece. And I haven't trimmed any of the end off, so you can see how I had to trim. Maybe it was like 1/8 of an inch that I actually had to trim off the bottom of this to make it work optimally. But what I used was a 3/4 inch wood bit, and here's one of those nuts that goes onto the pneumatic shaft, and the drill bit itself. Let's see if we can show this. It's just a hair bit bigger, kind of sticks out on both edges just a little bit, and that extra gives you room for the JB Weld glue that you're going to put in there to hold this in, and then just a decent size washer to go with it, something that's big enough for the shaft on the pneumatic pusher to go through. And I don't know if this is required, but I put that on there and JB welded it on the outside just to give something, so I have metal on metal contact instead of metal on plastic when I tighten this up. But it feels really strong that way, so definitely doesn't hurt if you've got the 10-cent washer laying around to use. So basically that's it. That's the hardest part of that, is building this little piece and gluing it together. The glue dries overnight. And what I did was I made sure the glue, didn't get in on any of my threads, and I actually threaded this onto my pneumatic pixel pusher, just to make sure that it dried in a centered fashion. If you're sloppy with your weld material, you might not want to do that, because you wouldn't want it permanently attached necessarily, because then you'll never be able to get it out. One more quick addendum to the Pixel Squisher, I almost forgot, probably using is which one of these, how do you know which one of these hooks up to which one of these as far as the lines go? So I've got these kind of like left, center, and right. And at least if you were able to use the exact same parts, the same cylinder and the same foot pedal that I have in the parts list, the right here actually goes to the bottom, and the center here actually goes to the top. And you can see I put some little labels with a single letter on there, so that I would know which goes where. And then the left actually goes out to the air compressor. And if you get these two reversed, I mean, you definitely don't want to get the input wrong, but if you get the other two reversed, what will happen is when you hit the pedal, it'll suck itself up instead of pushing down. So then it's easy enough to flip the lines around, either here on the pedal, or flip the lines around here on the pneumatic cylinder, and then you'll be back to squishing in the right direction. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that in there as well. Have a good day, guys.